Hi everybody, it's Tina Plackinger. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for letting me use my channel to help me make decisions about certain things. I just want you to know that I've gotten the gray out of my system now. I called my mom. I said, I look like an old biker broad. She said, well, it's been a long time since I've had a bike. But, I got that out of my system. I am not ready for that. I wish I had somebody in my life that I could ask, what do I look better in? These slacks or these? But I don't. So this is the way I can sort of make some big decisions in my life. I look, to myself, I look ancient. So, speaking of ancient, my video today is about the Nephilim, the giants that roamed the earth back in the day, that are going to be returning. My studies, I was interested in this stuff about 10 years ago. In between episodes of, gang stalking, I would find it amusing, and now I'm basically studying it a little bit more in depth because, in my opinion, we're in the end times. All my studies are from L.A. Marzulli and Russ Dizdar. These are the products, in case you're interested. I've got some information from Chief Joseph and Dr. Laralynn RiverWind. They have a website, I guess, called, let me get it real quick, Firekeepers International. Okay. So... okay, way back in the day, the native people were the ones, the Indians. These were the ones that dealt with the fallen angels. Okay, the Nephilim are the giants. Okay, the giants are the byproduct of the fallen angels coming to earth and having sex with human females. And then there were also giant tribes. But the native tribes, they called these entities, beings, spirits, star people. Star people were basically anyone or any entity or being that came from somewhere other than the earth. In the native tribes, they have a position called the storyteller. And being a storyteller is a very honorable position to have in the native tribes. You can't change any of the words, you can't take any out, and you can't add any. They would basically find someone in the tribe that had a good memory and that could speak well, and they would train them and teach them these stories. So we have that to go by as far as information goes. And also stone carvings and artwork they found in caves around the world. Okay, there were also birch bark scrolls. Back in the day, they found those in Israel, but when the church came in to the picture, the church burned all of them, and they were full of beautiful dances and songs and stories. They said, oh no, this stuff is pagan belief system stuff, and we're going to burn them. So they burned all of that, but there are still caves and storytellers and artwork that we fall upon. Pottery. There's even pottery that depicts flying discs. They found in Wyoming, the Shoshone and the Arapaho Indians had left us these depicted images of a female human standing like this with her arms out, 5 fingers on each hand. And they showed a being that we know today with the head that goes like this with the big eyes, the head that goes like this with the big eyes. What do we think of? We think of the aliens. Okay. This being was much larger than the female, and then there's a penis drawn, which shows that there was crossbreeding between these two. So the fallen angels came down. Oftentimes, the warriors. These were Indians, so the warriors would fight. The male warriors would fight them, and of course, end up getting killed. And the females had sex with them, and the byproduct are the giants that we call the Nephilim or the Nephilim, depending on if you're talking about one or more than one. Okay. All right. A lot of people today think that the mounds, big areas of 40-foot high structures on the earth, okay? They think that the native people built these. There's all kinds of weird stories that, the native people, they used the shoulder blade of a deer, and they dug the earth, and they had buckets, and they went and they built these big mounds. That is not true, okay? The Nephilim were mound builders. They have mounds everywhere. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid in grade school, we had a class trip where we went in Wisconsin, where I was born and raised. We went to a place called the Cave of the Mounds. And I remember being in the cave, and there were crystals growing and water dripping. It was a cold, damp, dark place. But it was called the Cave of the Mounds. The giants built the mounds. There's ceremonial mounds, there's funeral mounds where some of the skeletons have been buried there. And there are tribal mounds. They're all highly charged areas because they had sacrifices on these mounds and blood sacrifices. Okay. So they found in the Great Lakes, Michigan area, they found a spear that one of these giants had spears. By the way, the giants had 6 fingers and 6 toes, and oftentimes double rows of teeth. Okay, this is the offspring now of the fallen angel and the females. And there were many giant tribes all over. Florida, there's mounds that they found in Macon, Georgia. They found this spear in Michigan. And they did some, L.A. Marzulli took it, and he had an analysis done on it, and they traced it back to originating the materials for the spear in the Middle East. The Middle East, that's where it originated from. And so, we think to ourselves, well, how did the giants get way over here in America, in North America, from the Middle East? Well, the Israelites, they were killing off the giants. And so the giants, they were Philistines. And the Philistines were master seafarers. So they got in these ships, and they basically got out of Dodge. And they migrated. This lance that they found, the spear, it's about 3 feet long. It weighs about 26 pounds, And the giants would have that on a 8-foot pole, and they would just skewer the warriors being the Indians, 2 or 3 guys at a time. They were brutal. The giant tribes were brutal. Okay, they were sadistic. The warriors feared them. You see artwork carved in stone of the warriors shooting arrows upward to get to the eyes of the giants. The giants would think nothing of eating their babies, the warriors' babies. They would grab a warrior and bite their head off and drink the blood. Like popping a top on a bottle of beer. Okay. There was a lot of sadistic sexual activities, including animals and all kinds of weird stuff. So, yeah, they were very, very feared. And that's how they migrated out of there from the Middle East and went everywhere. Okay. There are native end-time prophecies. There's 5 that I want to share with you because they're happening today. 1, increased supernatural activity. 2, hybridization of creator's creation. They call God creator. The native people call Jesus, Yeshua, chief cornerstone. And the hybridization of animals is already happening today. There's a guy in Russia that has a big area, and he has all kinds of things coming back where they've gotten the DNA like Jurassic Park, just like the movie Jurassic Park. Saber-toothed tigers, the woolly mammal, the elephant that had the real long hair. All these creatures, and he has them living on this land in Russia. So this stuff is already happening, okay, where they're bringing back animals that have not been on the earth that have been extinct. The rebellion and hostility toward God, well, all you have to do is just turn on the news and you can certainly see that, the hostility toward Christians. Okay. The lack of love toward one another. I don't know about you, but I've never seen more haters in my life. There's so many haters in the world today. And the 5th end-time native prophecy is that man will think that he can create better than God. And man, if he wants to become a woman, will become a woman. If a female wants to become male, she will do that. And the storytellers talk about that there will come a time when that man who wants to be a female will be able to give birth. I mean, they're working with science on it as I speak. So, yes, so because of the storytellers that the tribes had, where they would carry the stories on from generation to generation to generation, without changing any words at all. And also the carvings in the stone and also artwork, we are able to know certain things. That the native people did not build the mounds, the giants did. And the Cherokee Indians actually guard these mounds because their belief is that the Nephilim are returning. They will be returning. I don't know if I mentioned this, that they're very highly charged areas, where they had a lot of blood sacrifices and things like that on these mounds that are everywhere in the world. So, yeah, the prophecies that the Native Americans talk about over the years are that the black snakes, there would be black snakes that would cover the land. Those are roads and railroads. And also that grandmother spider would weave a web large enough to cover the globe. So we see the World Wide Web today. We see telephone lines. We see electrical power lines that crisscross all over the world. The other prophecy that they had was that gourds of ashes will fall from the sky, destroying everything with fire during the end times. The native people have a saying, when the fire comes. How does this relate to the Nephilim? Well, the native people who have these end time prophecies and had prophesied over the snakes, which are the roads and the web and all of that stuff, okay? They have, their belief system is that the Nephilim will be returning. The Nephilim will be returning. Actually, the Native American prophecies are found in Bible codes. I don't want to get into Bible codes right now, but they're found in the Bible codes. In the United States alone, we have over 550 recognized tribes. In the United States, okay? Just a few of these tribes, just a few, Hopi, Cree, Cherokee, the Mayan, Lakota, Navajo, Chickasaw, Comanche, Apache, and so they're worldwide, and all of their storytellers have the same story and have the same prophecy. So, yes, when all this ugliness happens, the children of God will be okay. We'll be all right. So we don't really have to fear. We're going to go through some of it, But, the Nephilim, the bloodlines, if those are the things that happened 2,000, 3,000 years ago, okay, the flood and Noah's Ark and all of that stuff, they didn't get all of them. That bloodline is still here. It explains a lot. To me it does, without saying too much, because I have to be careful, my haters watch my videos as well. So, but the bloodline is here, and they will be returning, and it's really been hidden from us. So, if you're not saved, why don't you consider getting saved, getting a relationship with Jesus, because He is the way. He is the only way. Jesus, Yeshua, chief cornerstone. I just love that. And if you want to learn more about this sort of thing, stay tuned. I am going to be doing a teaching on something that I've learned from L.A. Marzulli. He did a teaching on the elongated skulls found in Peru. See, here in the United States, we have the Smithsonian. What is it? The Smithsonian Institute. They have confiscated the giant bones and all that stuff. Why this is being hidden from us, I don't know. But see, in Peru, they don't have that. So L.A. Marzulli found a lot of elongated skulls, and there's a whole thing going on there with that. So also, if you're interested in any of this stuff, I get this stuff through Prophecy Watchers. And it includes Russ Dizdar, who's awesome, and his new teaching is on transhumanism. So, with that being said, I just want to thank you for joining me today. God bless you. We stay in the fight.